Hello and welcome to ICC Compliance Center's e-learning series on the transport of lithium batteries by ground in Canada and by air. This training is based on the current IATA dangerous goods regulations and the transportation of dangerous goods regulations and is designed for the shipper of lithium batteries. A copy of the IATA and TDG regulations is required to complete this training. At any time, you may stop the program or go back to review material you wish to see again. You can also pause the program if you would like to take a few moments to look something up in the regulations. Before we start, please make sure you have your handout printed for jotting down notes and that you have access to the regulations. There will be a quiz at the end of the presentation, and once you obtain an 80% or better, a certificate of training will be available to you. In this training, we will review and become familiar with the requirements for shipping lithium batteries by ground and air utilizing the current regulations. We will also review the shipper's overall responsibilities under the regulations, and this training will enable you to prepare and offer for ground or air transport a shipment of lithium batteries that is compliant with the current regulations. We will begin the course with an introduction to lithium batteries and the transportation of dangerous goods regulations and the IATA dangerous goods regulations. We will review the elements included in the proper shipping description, as well as how to use the list of dangerous goods. Then we will move on to the packaging section. We will discuss the specification packaging that is used for dangerous goods, and then move into how to select the proper packaging for the batteries that you are shipping. We will also look at the exceptions that may be used for some lithium batteries. After packaging, we will go through the hazard communication requirements, which include marking, labeling, documentation, and placarding. We will end the course with a brief discussion of segregation and incident reporting requirements, and upon successful completion of the quiz, you will be issued a certificate of training. To help ease international trade, the United Nations has established a standard protocol for transporting dangerous goods. This can be found in the UN recommendations for the transport of dangerous goods. This is also known as the Orange Book. This is not a regulation itself, but is a model on which most national and international regulations are based. Canada has established its own regulations, called the Transportation of Dangerous Goods Act and Regulations, based on the UN recommendations. However, like most bodies, Transport Canada has modified the standard to meet Canadian concerns. Transport by air is the most hazardous way of transporting dangerous goods and requires extra restrictions compared to other modes. Transport Canada did not create their own air regulations. Instead, they refer air shippers to an international regulation created by ICAO, which is the International Civil Aviation Organization. This is based on the UN standard, but with additional restrictions such as size limits for packages. Transport Canada requires that both domestic and international air shipments comply with the ICAO technical instructions for the safe transport of dangerous goods by air, usually called just the technical instructions, or TI for short. Most commercial air shipments in Canada must follow the ICAO standards. However, for special cases such as transport to remote sites, Transport Canada does include some provisions to make these types of shipments easier, though still safe. The ICAO technical instructions are written as regulations, not as an easy-to-use guide for air transport. To make things easier for air shippers using commercial airlines, an organization representing these airlines called IATA, the International Air Transport Association, has created a guidebook called the IATA Dangerous Goods Regulations. This book is based on the legal requirements of the ICAO technical instructions, plus any additional restrictions or requirements of the airlines themselves. If you ship by commercial air carrier, you will normally have to comply with the IATA Dangerous Goods Regulations, or your shipment will be rejected by the airline. This course will focus on shipping dangerous goods by ground in Canada and air in compliance with the TDG and IATA Dangerous Goods Regulations.